Hi everyone, it's Jeannie from Makers Unify, and today I'm going to show you how to make belt cuff bracelets out of old belts. First, I'm going to go through my box of jewelry. I have costume jewelry in here. I have some pins and necklaces and earrings and different things. So I'm just kind of going through this to see what I want to use to embellish the bracelets. So these are a couple of the belts that I picked up at the thrift store that I'm going to use. And I'm going to start off with this brown one, and I'm going to make a turtle bracelet, cuff bracelet with this one. So the first thing I'm going to do is determine what part of the belt that I want to use. I did not want to use the end part with the holes in them, but I did want to make it large enough to save it for later if I want to use that part of it. And then I'm just going to have to try and figure out, this is going to be for my niece who has smaller wrists, so I'm just trying to gauge how long I should keep this belt, and I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to use the part from the original belt, the end of it that has kind of a curve on it, and I'm going to take my Sharpie and trace that curve so that I can cut it out and give it a little bit more of a design instead of just being straight cut. So after I trace what I want on both sides or on both ends, I'm going to just go ahead and trim that up. And as you can see in the video on the top part, I did make a couple of cuff bracelets with the black belts up on top. One of them I have a clamp on because I put some beads on it. The first one I did turned out okay, not as great as I wanted, but I had glued some beads on there, so I have it clamped down so that they can dry. And the other one I just have a piece of jewelry that I picked out of my box and put on there also. So now what I'm doing, I'm just spraying the ends with water and going to go ahead and rub that on this cutting board, and that'll kind of give it the same color as the rest of the belt of the leather, and keep it from looking like dried out or whatever. And then I'm just trimming off a little bit here, and I'll go ahead and burnish that again with some water. And here I'm using the leather punch by Art Minds. I picked that up at Michael's. It's really not that expensive. It's about $10. And you can change the size of the hole. It's like on a wheel, so you can change the size of the hole that you want. So I go ahead and punch holes on both sides. I did end up putting 2 snaps on one end of it, just so that you can make it tighter if you want. So then you go ahead and you put in this the snaps, and that is also by Art Minds. It's a snap and setter kit that you can get, and they have each package has different size snaps that you can use. So you basically need 4 pieces for each bracelet, so 2 for each side, and they are a little bit different. I don't know the technical terms for each piece, but you can, I actually just watched another YouTube video to try and figure out how to do this, and my first one I know was with trial and error, but and then I'll go back and look at what I had done and what pieces I needed to use so that I was using the right pieces. So this is the turtle embellishment that I got. I believe it's specifically made for bracelets. I picked this up at Michael's. It was actually on sale. They had a bunch of them on sale for like $2 or $3. So it's always a good idea to look at their clearance section. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out where I want it on here. And there are 2 holes, one on each end of this. And I'm going to mark it with the Sharpie. And then I'm going to take the leather punch with the smallest punch and go ahead and punch those marks. And then I have this leather that I picked up. It's like a leather, I guess, string that's also in the leather section at Michael's. And I'm going to basically just tie it on. I put it on a needle and pull it up and just tie a knot on each side. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the E6000 glue and just dab it in the knots so that they stay together and won't unravel. So this bracelet is actually for my niece, who is a marine biologist down in Alabama, and her favorite marine life to work with are turtles and dolphins. So here's a closer look at some of the leather cuff bracelets that I made. There's a turtle one, there's one with a saying on it. Those are the 2 embellishments that I got from Michael's. So let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite and if you're going to try this project. Have a DIY day.